So for me, like, I knew the first time that I was a good photographer was when people wanted to hire me. So I knew I was good, but I didn't know that I was that good. So when people started to hire me, I felt like, oh, it has elevated my confidence more, and in a way, I felt that I could evolve more from that.
Can you explain a little bit? Like when was the first time someone hired you? How did that feel? And then how did you evolve?
So actually, the first time my mom told me I was a good photographer, but yeah,
Yeah, as mums do.
I
Yeah, yeah.
couldn't like trust her 100% on that.
No,
But once I put it out on Facebook back in the day, like I made a Facebook page and everything. I posted stuff there, and out of the blue, people started to hire me from that. I was only 19, and I was like, oh, easy money back then. Yeah,
good for you.
yeah.
What was it about photography initially that had you excited, and why did you kind of pick up a camera in the first place?
Funny story is my dad is actually a painter, but he tried to teach me drawing, painting, but I never had the patience to sit down and just draw. So I tried other things to make art, and that's photography, where you just press a shutter and the art is there, and just a few tweaks and edits in it here and there. Yeah.
So how do you make your photos into art? Because there is a difference. Like there's an image and then there's an artistic image.
hmm
Or would you think that all photography is art?
Some photography is just as it is, like documentary, like the news stuff. It could be art also, but the main purpose is more like to see facts and to see what's happening in the world. But for me, art in photography is involving what we know about photography: composition, lighting, the sense of art itself, and the moment of the people involved. Yeah, I shoot people, so that's important for me. So the expressions that they make, the mood that they feel when they are photographed, combining all of that, that's art for me.
So what makes a good photograph for you in Gov's photography, and you post a photo or you create a photo that you're proud of, you're happy of. What are the parts of that photo that you think, okay, that's good, that's good, that's good, and it all comes together?
To make a good photograph, you just either need one of these: lighting, composition, and moment. So you can just get a nice moment without thinking everything. People say, oh, that's a nice moment. And then if you shoot something uh, with a great composition, like a perfect symmetrical photograph, that's a good photograph. And then another one is a good lighting, a beautiful sunset. Oh, that's a good photograph. But for me, a great photograph is combining all those things together in one photograph. So getting each part of these components into one photograph creates a great photograph for me.
Interesting. Yeah, and I have to agree with most of that, I think. And there is a in my opinion there is a difference between bad, good, and great photograph. And people, a lot of people often tell me, "Well, no, it's subjective. It's in the eye. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder." Right? Well, yes, that's when you're thinking about how something moves someone, how beauty is perceived by someone, whether it's an aesthetic piece of art or not. Um, but for me, there is it's important to have a line between bad, good, and great because then people have something to strive towards and how to learn and how to progress. Right?
Yeah, bad is pretty universal for me. Like if you shoot something too dark, except if you intend for it, it's a bad photograph. Like you don't see the expressions, you don't see anything. And if you shoot a crooked photo without any intent, also it's the same thing. Like yeah,
Is really important
yeah,
intention.
yeah.
Right? But how do people know what your intent is? How do you get across in a photograph what your intent is with that photo? Because sometimes people post photos, I post photos, and my intent is one thing, and then the audience takes it as something else. And I don't know whether that's like, oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it, right? But even if it's different from my intent, so that kind of can be a good byproduct. How does that apply to you? How do you create an intent behind your images?
Well, for me, my intent first is to communicate what my in this case my client wants into a photograph, but putting my own personal stamp on it. So that's my first intention. If the client is happy, they feel, oh wow, this is so me. This photograph is very me. That's when I feel a success in my intent. So whatever public sees about this photograph, it doesn't really matter to me. What's the most important is the person I photograph, the person, uh, my client. That is the most important thing for me if I want to make something that people hire me for. But personal project is another different matter.
Well, talk to me a bit more about the personal projects. How would you approach that?
So personal project is how I see myself in my photographs. So that's what my intent is. So what do I feel when I took this photo? And I don't care about what other people think. In social media, it might get less likes than my usual work, but I'm happy with it.